No. Hey, so I'm Kaylee. I am from North Carolina, from this small town of Colfax was where I was born and raised, and then went to Southern Wesleyan. Whoop, whoop. And then I came back to North Carolina. I currently live with my parents again. That was fun. So if you live with your parents, it's cool. No, we were house hunting, and then the pandemic hit, and we haven't left my parents upstairs. It's great, and we have like almost a 2-year-old, whatever. But no, so then I'm the children's pastor at New Covenant Church, which is in Pleasant Garden, which is right outside of Greensboro, if you know anything about North Carolina, and if you don't, that's totally cool. But I also am the district children's director, president, whatever I am for NC West. So I get to work with other children's pastors, and that I love dearly. I get to work with the youth pastors too, because my husband is a youth pastor, so that's not as much fun as the kids pastors, but we won't go down that route. But anyway, so before we dive too deep in today, I just want to pray for us as we continue. So Lord, would you just open our eyes? God, would you help us to be the leaders you want us to be? God, would you help us to learn and learn together and build relationships with each other? But at the end of the day, Lord, would you just help us to be the best that we can be in your eyes? In your name I ask and pray. Amen. So we were actually just talking at our table too, like, I don't know that I would have said this even 3 months ago, but I feel like the pandemic taught us a lot. I don't think that's a big statement. But for me, one of the biggest things, yes, the pandemic was hard and ministry was hard and we had to go on Zoom and we had no clue what we were doing. But one of the most important things that came out of the pandemic for me was I have relied so much on myself that I forgot the importance of partnering with parents for the discipleship of their kids. I think before the pandemic, we got really comfortable with, hey, here's my kid on Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, Tuesday, whatever. Here's my kid, here's my teen. You are their pastor. You're teaching them about Jesus. You're their spiritual leader, and parents would just take a step back, and we let them do that. Or at least I did. Like, maybe I'm the only one in the room, which I'm cool with that. But the pandemic, slapped me in the face. Now I'm, posting on my Facebook kids group, parents, you got this. You can do it. Teach your kids about Jesus. Well, I should have been doing that all along. We have to partner with parents. And in the title of it was In a Pandemic. It's kind of like post-pandemic now. Let's just talk about partnering with parents. But it's so important. If you might have a family pastor at your church, and that's awesome. But I'm the kids pastor / family pastor, right? I have to work with parents. Whether they love Jesus or not, whether they're involved or not, I have to work with parents. I have to connect with them. So how do we do that? I'm not up here like some pro that has it all together. I know how to do this. But I love it. I love parents as much as they drive me nuts. Yeah, we can all giggle about that. We all thought of one, didn't we? But we love them, and we have to partner with them. They are the backbone of our ministry. So how do we do that? Again, this isn't some magic formula. You might be doing all of these things already, and you can yes. Okay, cool, awesome. But this is just what I've learned. The first one is this. Proximity is key. We cannot invite them into our space without going to their space. A lot of adults in our world have a lot of church hurt. Our kids and our teens don't have it as much yet. They haven't been around as long. But I know so many adults that have so much church hurt. And so they'll ask me hey, what do you do for a living? Work for a nonprofit, right? You pull up the pastor card and immediately sometimes it shuts down a conversation. Or, hey, you should come to my church. Breaks off, right? Parents aren't as comfortable with that because they carry a lot more baggage than their kids and their teens do. But if I go into their space, I go to their kids' sporting event, I go to the chorus concert, I go shop at the same grocery store with them, even if I don't feel like being social. Let's go to this other grocery store across town because I don't want to see any church people. But when we get in their space and force them to see us face to face, we build relationships. At Southern Wesleyan, I was a resident assistant, I was an RA, and one of my RDs said it all the time, and you may have heard it before, but people don't care what you know until they know that you care. So we have to show parents in their space that we care about their kids. Because they may never come to our youth ministries. They may never come to our children's ministries. They may never walk in the doors of our church. and see how we care for their students. So we have to show it to them outside of that. One of the coolest things I got to watch is my husband. He loves football. We watch college football all the time. And we had a couple of boys in our ministry when they were doing spring football because all the seasons got mixed up. He said, hey, do you guys have a chaplain for your football team? And they were like, what's that? And he said, it's like somebody to pray with you and like do devotions. And they're like, no. So he said, well, ask the new coach, isn't it? Coach Bates, like he's brand new. Ask him if he'd even be interested in that. Public, high school. Coach Bates said, yeah, sure, that'd be awesome. So my husband, every Friday night, is on the sidelines. He does a devotion before the game. He prays with them. And yes, he's rubbing elbows with our students. We had a few of those students go to winter retreats with us. We've had a couple of them attend our church, and one of them's getting baptized soon, and I'm like a mama bear to him. We love these kids. But while my husband was on the sidelines, I packed up my 1-year-old, and this is not like I'm awesome and special, but I packed her up, and we'd go through either McDonald's or Chick-fil-A drive-thru because she eats chicken nuggets the best. And I'd pack her up, I'd take her to the football game, and I would rub elbows with the parents. Their kids are on the football field or they're the cheerleaders, and I'm in the crowd chasing my 1-year-old but trying to have an adult conversation at the same time. It built a relationship with those parents. Long story short, I won't go into all the details. One of those parents who never came to our church, grew up Catholic, all of those things, is now serving with me in my K2 ministry. So, again, it's not a magic formula, but we've got to get where they are. Because she would have never known how much we love and care about her son if she didn't see me go. And I know schedules are busy. Like, I totally get it. Try to make one sporting event if you can. We have a ton of seniors, like 20 of them right now, and God help us. But we try to go to one senior night. Like, just try to go senior night. If nothing else, if we haven't made any other baseball game, we're going to go Tuesday night to senior night. Or at least one of us is. Get where they are. The second is this, over-communicate. Oh, but Kaylee, I have made that announcement 73 times. I know. Oh, we have said it 15 times, and they still, yeah, I know. But just when you start thinking you've said it too much is when they're getting it. They're just hearing it for the first time. So over-communicate. And I mean information, yeah, like you can have Facebook groups and texts. That's how I communicate with parents. I set up a private Facebook group. Why? Because I was on a live Zoom or a live like Facebook Live thing with my kids, and there were some men from another country that had no mutual friends that jumped on my live, and that made me very uncomfortable. So we switched to a private group. Again, that's just my experience. I communicate in there. Yeah, that's great. I give information. Here's camp. Here's the link. Here's what we're doing. But also communicate the good stuff. I remember one Sunday morning, like checkout, and don't ask me about a checkout process because ours is like ridiculously chaotic. But I'm yelling at the kids, and I'm trying to get the parents and making them sit down. And this mom comes by, and I said, you know what? Okie praised God so great today. He was singing louder than any other kid. It took me 15 seconds to say that. And that mom just lit up with excitement. Why? Because they don't see what their kids are doing. And now that I'm a mom, I drop my kid, my daughter Charlotte, off in the nursery, and I'm like, please be nice. Like, share your toys. Like, be a good girl. And then when they say that to me, man, it does my heart something. It motivates me to come back, right? So, yes, communicate information, over-communicate information, get it in their hands as much as you can, but also communicate the good stuff too. Hey, this is what your kid's doing. They're an awesome kid. And my last thing is this, be proactive instead of reactive. Be proactive instead of reactive. You've created the relationship with the parent. They finally trust you. They come to you and they share the darkest part of their life or their student's life, their kid's life. And you say, oh, let me get some resources for you. I'll be back to you in a couple days. No, don't do that. Have them already. If you don't know of a counselor or juvenile counselor that you could give a phone number to right now to a parent in your ministry, figure it out. And I know that's hard. I know they're sometimes very limited, but have that number. Hey, your kid's going through something. Here's a phone number. This is who you need to call. In that conversation, when they're the most open, have something to give them. Don't wait. Let me research that for a minute. No. Get resources now. So when they're finally open to you, you can give it what they need. Hey, my kid's dealing with this, that, or the other. Hey, here's a book for you. Here's an article I read. Here's this, that, or the other. Whatever that resource looks like for you, get it in your hands now so you can get it in their hands. Resource them with ways to discipleship their kids. I did this Easter thing, and I just tried it, something new. I stole it from a kids pastor's group. It's awesome. But I just did like Easter baskets where they opened an egg every day, and here's the story of Jesus. I resourced the parents. Then I get the kids really excited because I had this giant Easter basket that they all got to like enter to win a prize for. So they were loving it. Resource, have things, get it in their house. So to review, proximity is key. Get where they are. Over-communicate the information and the good stuff. And be proactive instead of reactive. Again, it's not some magic formula, but hopefully it'll help you guys. So here's some questions for you. Zach said, do what you do in kids ministry. Okay, everybody sit down, let's talk. All right, so everybody sit down, let's talk. And hopefully this will help you in your ministry. Thanks, guys.